Well, salutations, kindred spirits, and hey, welcome back to another magic video. It's in this clip that we're going to take a step off the beaten path. Yeah, from my normal offerings, I have instead a topic of discussion. Yeah, a topic that being street performing, busking in a pandemic. Busking in a pandemic. Weird, right? But that's what we're talking about. And I'm happy to announce that I have a special guest, live here with me, one of my oldest friends, one of the greatest living street magicians on the planet. And I'm going to introduce you to him in just a moment. But first, I want to take a look at a clip that showed up in my Facebook memories earlier today. Yeah, it was March 7th, 2019, 2020, a year before the pandemic. Here in Jackson Square, I'd like to share my good friend sharing his thoughts with street performing. And, well, here he is.
But today we've done a very mysterious thing. Today, in the 21st century, we have kids and grown-ups watching something together outside. And here's the real magic. We're all watching it, right? But there's no screen in front of us. And nobody's doing this to talk to each other. And not once, nope, not even once, did we have to use any bad words or vulgarity to have fun. You know, they don't even remember how to do that stuff on the TV or in the movies. So this must be real magic. We must be performing miracles or something. But that's just my opinion. But if you share that opinion, you might want to clap now, you know? Maybe they think we like this every 50 years. Well, that's the good news. The bad news is nobody pays me to be out here but you. I know. I was mad about it too when I found out.
Ladies and gentlemen, because there's more of you, I would like to introduce you to my very good friend, Jimmy Talksalot. What's up, buddy? Here's the thing. We could talk about a lot of things today. We could talk about working at Magic Masters or other magic shops. Warpo's joint, that was a great time. We could talk about learning magic in our whole life. We could talk about busking. We could talk about Cellini. You want to talk about Cellini for... We'll talk about Cellini for about an hour one day, but we're not going to do that today. Here's what we've been doing this past week. We spent the weekend in Jackson Square. Jimmy's been out there every day. Yeah. Every day, which is interesting because it's like a ghost town most days. But I thought that it would be a nice, timely topic that we could focus on, and you could understand the street performer point of view, and maybe some kindred spirits will learn a little bit along the way about what to expect as you venture into a new world with new rules. So let's do this. Before we talk, I'm sure you're curious. Let's take a look at Jimmy. How about, you mind that?
No, go ahead.
I'm going to edit in a clip at this point, something I shot earlier today, Jimmy doing a little bit of magic. You can see how the crowds are socially distanced, mask wearing, some are, some aren't, and how the situation is managed. But just, we'll take a minute look at Jimmy Talksalot doing his thing in Jackson Square. Here, check this out.
He said, Jimmy, that's me, Jimmy. He said, Jimmy, take your piece of rope, make sure it's strong. He said, tie it up, he said, cut it with scissors. But when I was little, I wasn't allowed to play with scissors. So I just pretend. Y'all ever pretend? I pretend my fingers were scissors like this, and I could cut rope like that. Now, I couldn't do that because that's crazy. Nobody can do that. I was just pretending. But after I pretended, I said, Grandpa, what should I do now? He said, well, Jimmy, that's me, Jimmy. He said, make sure you got two of the pieces the same length. I said, well, one do short, Grandpa, and one do long. Did I stretch it, stick your teeth? Like long one? He said, no, Jimmy, you can't cheat your whole life, you big cheater. You better start over. Well, I started over, but I realized something. I realized, boy, y'all won't clap for nothing. That's all right. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, when's the guy going to do the trick, right? So one last time, y'all want to see the big trick? Say yeah. Yeah. And so do I. I'm waiting too. How you think I feel? I need help.
Let's start here. Let's start at the beginning, Jim. Okay, you go out on the square and you say, I'm going to perform in a pandemic. So yeah. I mean, right, probably the majority of the country thinks this is an oddball situation, but as a professional and one who's been without work for over a year or about that time, what's your point of view for street performing in a pandemic? Like, is it okay?
Yeah, well, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I think that, I think people are searching for a bit of normal And what I've noticed as I've been traveling around and I perform that me and the other street performers are the last bit of normal. So it seems to me to be actually easier to street perform right now because people are trying to escape the normal unhappiness of the,
You know what I think? I think over the year of being most people living inside, many of us are at a breaking point, and then you get to see a live performance. Wow, when has anyone experienced that in any form for the last year? So we're certainly offering a service that is happily received. It is weird out there, though, right? It's.
Oh, it is weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I used to bring them in a lot. I bring them in close. Now I try and leave them out where they're more comfortable.
Yeah, I was questioning some of your decisions today when you were backing up an audience, but it's really a safer thing to do. Note that we are in New Orleans, where the guidelines for the city, and I guess they base this off the state. I know that New Orleans has been very particular, but they're currently allowing outside gatherings of up to 150 people. As you saw in the clip, our crowds were no bigger than 30 or 40 people for most of the weekend, and often much smaller than that. So, we're being led by government guidelines and applying some of those rules. And my original question, I wanted to kind of focus on your perspective. Do you think there's any, I've heard, I post social media clips, so I hear people voice their displeasure about us performing in public with,
I never realized. I'm kind of out of the loop. I don't really go on social media very often, and I'm pretty much out of the loop. So I'm
Jimmy's the poster boy for old school. He's the OG.
So I guess I'm going in naive.
Yeah, and this question is also kind of weird, right? Because you're here, you're working, and you obviously made that choice that it's fine. So what am I doing asking you that? So. Just, I think, and I wonder what you think about it. So, hey, you can leave questions, and we respond in the comments. If you want to do that, please leave a question really about anything about street performing. And, hey, this is a subject I hope to return to over and over again throughout my YouTube live life. And let's see, performing in a pandemic. What do you think, man? How was the money?
The money's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the money's not bad.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, I'm getting a lot more. I'll give you a great example. Sometimes when I would get, normally, there'd be days where you get harder crowds, tough crowds, where people are a little bit more jaded. And there's certain types that just maybe they want to give a street magician a hard time, let's just say. Well, I get them now. And I know I could still recognize them, but they're behaving differently. They're behaving like, well, normally I might give this guy a hard time, but this guy's doing me a favor now. And entertainment's always been about kind of trying to escape. Like in the Depression, people would try and escape, and they would go see entertainment. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening here. I think that people are more grateful. I'm getting better reception during the Corona, I think, than for my audiences than I normally would. They give me more forgiveness.
Here's something that is interesting evolution. Mr. OG has segued into the electronic tips, right? Yeah. So, like last year, I couldn't convince this guy to get not only a smartphone but Venmo. His phone is the size of my thumb. With the never mind. But yeah, in this, that's the new one. That's the big model.
I had to get a new one.
It's all fancy now. So, I guess part of this is a growth process for both our audience and for us, how to have an exchange of value. You provide entertainment. They hopefully provide rent and food on the good days.
I'll tell you that the downside of it that's been killing me is the interacting. I have to do a lot less interaction.
It's the nail on the head right there. This is the...
Yeah. So it's affected the size of my show, and the I would say the intimacy, the comedy. It's affected everything. So and the length of my shows, I've gotten, because I'm running out. I have less rehearsed material. I have to kind of come out and create more stuff that's done without.
I'm sure most of our performing audience understands this. If you're not a performer or haven't studied, performing arts, especially a close-up magician or even a parlor magician, a large portion of our act, our professional, well-rehearsed act that we spent 10 or 20 years on, is directly involved with often hands-on moments with the audience, very often up close. And when you have to take those away, it really, now we're back, not at square one, but square 50 or 60, and those squares take a while to get through. So, and then, you know what, I'm sure you forget little squares that you have to learn. There's just little things that are missing along the way. So yeah, developing not just new monetary skills, but new magician skills as well. Have you brought some new material out because of the pandemic? Like what's a new trick?
I tried.
We've talked about this.
Where I was at in San Antonio, it's a lot more restrictive for street performing. Anyway, even besides the virus, and then after the virus, it just got more. So I had to make, instead of doing my usual stand-up routine, with a big, a lot of people, I had to go down to a smaller, like, sidewalk thing, and I even started bringing a table. And so I had to come up with...
Which is crazy for you.
I would never use a table.
This guy shows up with a pocket. He's got a coin and a rope and a stick. Like, that's his big prop. This guy bringing a table out is just unfathomable to me. There's no magician street performer that does more with less than Jimmy Talksalot. I've posted some clips on this YouTube. When was Walking to New Orleans? How long ago was that?
It was a long time.
15 years ago?
Yeah,
if you go back,
like
it's still up there. I left it up. If you go back years and years ago, you'll actually get to see, is it your full show? Did we shoot the whole thing?
Well, yeah, but it was cut up,
Right.
but pretty much all the routines were there, but not all the tricks in the routines.
Yeah.
Were there,
I don't care enough to look, obviously, but it's if you do, it's there. If you'd like to see what Jimmy does on the street, and I guess that's an older representation, but as professional acts do, it's kind of actually you had a killer finish back then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got where you tightrope walked with the kids on it.
Yeah.
Y'all go watch that clip. That'll give me some YouTube love, and you get to see a master at his craft. And in the future, I guess you're going to go home this week and investigate some other opportunities in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I expect to see him back here within 3 days. You'll be open, welcome with open arms. Yeah, the door's unlocked and come on in anytime.
Well, I was homesick. I love New Orleans. Always have.
Yeah, well, New Orleans is meant for some people. You're one of them, obviously, and just a matter of time before you're ingratiated back into the fold. I want to, just for, in case we never if you get in a car wreck or something on the way home, and you guys just have, because that's how I think about you, Jimmy. I wanted to mention some of the street. Well, I'm just saying this might not ever happen again. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah,
tonight
true.
it goes sour and we have a beef, and the beef is never resolved.
Yeah, that's true.
That could happen like at dinner time. So if that happens, I want y'all to know that this man's work on street performing has been, in my opinion, the most valuable resource that's been published in the last 20 years. There's been a lot published, but it's a free resource. It's Jimmy. What's the name of the blog? Jimmy Talksalot blog. So you want to be a street performer? That's where you start.
JimmyTalksalot.blogspot.com.
JimmyTalksalot.blogspot.com. I'll put a link in the description. If you want to learn about street performing, anything about street performing, that's a great place to start. I'm trying to twist his arm and get him onto the TikToks and maybe the YouTube shorts. And we shot some footage this week, and you'll see hopefully some of that on Jimmy's site. What's your YouTube?
Jimmy Talksalot.
There you go. It's Jimmy Talksalot. So it's one word, right? You just spell Jimmy Talk. I'll put a link in the description below. How about that? So now what? What else could we talk about? Street performing in the pandemic.
Well, how you taught me magic would be.
That's gonna. And the teacher becomes the student. We're not going to talk about that right now. One day we will, though. One day we'll go at length about street performing. And here's the thing. We've been working all weekend. It's Sunday night. Jimmy was out there Friday. I worked and had a gig last night. I went out there today with new shoes. My feet hurt, and we're all hungry. So I think our best course of action here is just to go make some tacos.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, we're going to make tacos. And hey, Jimmy, thank you for getting on screen here.
Thanks for having
Look,
me.
putting old school on YouTube is not always the easiest of tasks. But hey, we accomplished that today. I hope y'all have enjoyed this little bit of a difference in this ever-growing channel. And as always, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your energy. And hey, I'll see you on the next clip. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. All right.
Okay. So I will prove how strong this rope is before I do the trick by walking across it first. Don't drop it. I know what I'm doing. I've seen David Blaine do this on the TV. What's he got that I don't have? Pretty girlfriend, millions of dollars. Big house. But I'm not bitter. Not me. I have all this. Pick up the slack. It's bending. Wait a minute. It's not going to work like that. I'm sorry. My mistake. Okay. Get up. Just tighten up. People looking at us. All right, look. It's still not working. I'm not stupid. I can see the problem here. I know what it is. The rope's too high. Bring it down a little bit. A little bit more. Bring it down a little bit. A little bit. A little bit more. A little bit. Hold it steady. Steady. All right, it's working fine now. All right, everybody clap for the kid. All right, here we go. I'm going to do the trick. Oh, one last thing. Remember, all your donations are tax-free. Right? You heard that. Right, no pushing and shoving unless you got a 20. Thank you. Oh, $5. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think we're finally going to have enough for Grandma's operation. Oh, thank you. You always wanted that game. Very lovely, lady. Thank you for putting up with me. Bella's not so lovely. Thank you all for very much. My name is Jimmy Talksalot. I'm a sidewalk performer.